How's it going, everyone? Rick with UTV Source, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been with us for a while, awesome. Thanks for coming back. We sell UTV parts and we ship them to your door. We're kind of in the middle of a big build with this Segway Villain behind me. We've already built one before. We've been beating on it for quite a bit now, along with other UTVs that we own, operate, and build. All of those builds can be viewed in our gallery on the website at utvsource.com. So whether you have a Segway, a Polaris, a Pro R, a Can-Am, a Defender, a Ranger, we've done them all. And they're on that gallery for you guys to check out and get some ideas for your next build. In this episode, we're gonna continue the build, right? So we've already done radius rods from Shock Therapy, sway bar in links from Shock Therapy. We've done the DRT radius rod pull plate and the TMW cage for our Villain. Now we're gonna finish off the rugged radio install. So we opted for the rugged radio 696 master communications kit with a rocker switch, okay? In the Segway Villain and on some other UTVs, you're limited on space. And since nothing was available for an actual enclosure for our unit, I went ahead and made one. It's back from powder coat. I've got all the wires laced in, and didn't film any of that because it's pretty simple. It really is very simple. I am not great at wiring, and I can put in a rugged radio kit pretty easy. It involves moving some panels out of the way and tucking the cables in through the center console on 2-seaters and 4-seaters. Now, all kits are gonna come as a 4-seat kit, so you're gonna end up having to wrap up some cables and put some zip ties on it and secure it within the model. And that's what I had to do here. So in this video, you're gonna see a lot of unfinished work because I'm still lacing in other electrical components for this build. Bear with me, and we're gonna get through this and help you install your kit on your UTV. Now, there are some options in these kits. You can opt for headsets, you can opt for a helmet kit, or some of us already have helmets that come pre-wired that you can get on the website at utvsource.com. So what I'm gonna do is go over those 3 items first, and then we're gonna take a look at the build and where I'm at. So right out of the gate, this is a headset kit that you can opt. It's an option when checking out. These are your earbuds. This is where you pin in everything, and this is where you're gonna speak at everything. Now, all the helmets in the industry internally have Velcro pads. You just pop them off and you put this in. It's got 3M double stick tape on it. It's gonna adhere to inside your helmet. And before you stick anything and make it permanent, put it all together, let it float in there, put the helmet on, make sure it's comfortable for you in your helmet, okay? Because you might put it in the wrong spot and it hit your ear and it's gonna suck. Don't do that. Take your time with this. It's something you can do in your living room, while you're watching TV and just hanging out and kicking back. Get comfortable. This isn't a race. Installing parts is not a race. You want to do it once and you want to do it right. So that's my job, is to make sure that we're all educated on how to do it the right way. So this is the kit. These are the plug outs or the pin outs, okay? There's a little bit of difference between them. And they did this now, this is kind of new, so you can swap out. So say you got a buddy that has a different headset kit. Well, he can pin out and change it so it works for him now, which is pretty cool, pretty neat. This is the headset kit. It's an option at the checkout. Or that's the helmet kit, sorry. This is the headset kit, which is another option. Now, this one is equipped with the, I believe, Alpha bass. Yes, Alpha audio. It's lightweight, it's very, very comfortable. You can see you cannot change the pin out on this. Now, these are gel filled. They're very comfortable to wear. This is an over the head right here. It's adjustable with Velcro. Pretty cool. And you can add this to your kit after the fact as well. You can just order headsets if you already have the helmet kit. And let's say you're going on a quiet ride and you're gonna be cruising and it's hot. You wanna wear your headset only, go for it. I can't tell you to wear a helmet, but I can stress that wearing a helmet is very important. But there are trips out there that even myself and some of the guys take where it's very slow paced. We want to have a lot of viewing angle and we don't want to cook in our helmet. Here's the headset. It's pretty simple. Everything's adjustable. You grab the cable that we've already pre-installed and you plug it in. Once you plug it in, you're locked in. What this whole system does is allow you to communicate from driver to passengers very easily. It also streams your music, Bluetooth, on that little rocker switch. Now getting back to that, we went with the rocker switch because we have limited space in our Segway, and if I was to build an enclosure to hold everything, it would be tall and it would be in the way. So we're gonna show you where I put it, but before we go there, we're gonna show you the helmet and what a helmet kit looks like installed. Now, this is my personal helmet. We offer a lot of helmets on the website at UTV Source. This one's a little fancy. I've been doing this a long time, so I saved up to get a very lightweight helmet, right? Weight reduction on my head and then my neck on long rides, and I do this a lot, is pretty important. So I opted for a Pro Series carbon fiber pre-wired helmet with a pumper kit. I'm gonna get into that too. But this is the helmet. It came pre-wired. If you don't know, you can also order up these really neat covers that protect the dust from coming in. It kind of lays over your shoulders. Dirt and dust isn't going to come in, which is pretty important when you're in a big group ride. The visor just pops open and kind of hang out in there. This helmet's extremely light. Again, it's carbon fiber. All of this is Velcro, so you can change it to a lighter weight covering. Pretty simple to install. Get that out of the way. You can see the cord is right here, and this is where we're going to be plugging in. Again, it just plugs right in, boom. Obviously this is coming from the helmet side, so you have the male and then you have the female side, which is the connectors that we've already laced through. I don't know if you can see in there, but it's going to look like that. You want the speaker right there by your mouth, and the ear pods are right inside the helmet here. So this is a very comfortable helmet. This would be more of the standard helmet that we offer. This is the Pro Sport. Same visor, basically. Helmet's quite a bit heavier, but it does the same thing. It protects your head in the event of an accident. This one also comes pre-wired. You can see right here. Everything's in there. It's a little dirty. And it has the pumper down low. Now, we're gonna get into that in just a bit, but let's finish off the radio side of things and what we've done on our Segway Villain. Let's take a look at the rocker switch for the STX kit on our Segway Villain that you can use on your Can-Am, your Polaris, any make and model. Everyone has rocker switches, right? And from the factory, you can pop out the cap or the faceplate on that, and it exposes the open hole there. Well, that's there for a reason. Most manufacturers have figured it out. We're adding stuff in there, right? So I moved over their switch to the far right side of the vehicle, closest to the passenger, because as a driver, I want to be able to use this and have total control of my phone calls, my music, and my channels above, right? So everything is very well laid out. I can keep my harness on, reach everything very, very easy. So let's check it out. That's all the room that it takes up. It's really, really convenient. You have play and pause for your music, your phone calls. This is your volume levels as well. You have your squelch and everything right there, as well as your power button right there. And you're gonna hear it click on and off to let you know what's going on. It also backlights, which is pretty cool. Now I took it a step further and went ahead and put another rugged radio product in there. This time I went ahead and installed a Parker pumper system into our Segway. We didn't have it on the other one, and really wish we did. So on this one, it's a must. We're putting it in there, so let's get into that. It's right there. It's a rocker switch. So power on, you hear it click, it's going to illuminate. This is the Mac Air VSC-RS rocker switch, variable controlled speed. So it's a 2-person kit that can be adapted to 3 or 4. We selected for the 2. To get it to do 3 or 4 people, all you do is buy some splitters for your hoses. It's located down here in the rocker switch instead of this big unit that would have to go down there. So they've condensed everything. As most of these manufacturers are going to a touchscreen, it's eating up a lot of room. which is cool. We like the touchscreens, but room is precious in your UTVs, especially the two-seaters. So we've already laced in the harness. Again, it's the same thing. You're just running a plug-and-play kit into here, right? And you're trying to keep some things separate. So power and ground, we try to separate that from the cabling that's going in here and the antenna. Now, on the Segway, it's a little difficult because you have this waterfall feature right here. And it's really thin, so we've got to get all of this in here. So what I've done is pre-ran all the electrical in here for rugged race radio components and some other components that we'll get into on another video. But this one's all about the rugged radio communications and the pumper system that we've put in. Now, it has a lead. It's a true plug-and-play system. It's right there. Now, on ours, I went ahead and opted for the mounts. This is 2.5 inches. So there's a 2.5 inch clamp, and I've got one in. We're gonna go back to the table. I'm gonna show you the clamp and the actual pumper system. This is the VSC-RS. That's the switch I just showed you. Variable speed controller rocker switch. It's a space saver. It's awesome. It's just like the STX system. It's condensed, so we have more room in our Segway now. And this is the Mac Air pumper, okay? This is your helmet pumper, and we're gonna be mounting this between the driver and the passenger in our Segway. The plug that I showed you earlier, well, this just plugs right into that. And that's how that works. The VSC, variable speed controller, then controls the power output, or how much air it's going to feed to your helmet. This is what's included in the complete kit. These are your hoses, and they look short, but they're not. These things will stretch out a long distance to get your air where you need it, okay? So we're working with about every bit of 6.5, 7 feet. And obviously you don't need that much, so they've made it kind of like an accordion. And it's very heavy duty, it works very well. I'm gonna recommend when you are running this system that you keep in mind, these are gonna get dirty on the inside. They do. Also, you're gonna need to clean the filter. We have ours with like a pre-filter on it. You're gonna need to clean these things. They're gonna need servicing. And if you need parts for them, we have them on the website at UTV Source. It's gonna come with this. It's gonna ask you to wash all of this prior to using it to get off any of the oils from assembly. This is the pre-filter or dust filter. It's not waterproof, but if water hits it, it will kind of shed off, but it will get in there. This is the other pre-filter. You're gonna need to keep this clean, and this is the actual filter. These are replaceable if yours becomes damaged or saturated with water and mud. Not very expensive to do, and it's very easy to replace. It just has a hose clamp on it, pops right off. Now, how the system works, it's pretty cool. This was kind of brought to the racing industry, right? Because you're running long distances and you're not getting out of your machine. You're not taking your helmet off. So when you're off-road, you're in the elements. And when you're in big groups, like a race course, and you have a lot of guys running around at high speeds, they're gonna knock up a lot of dust. And that dust is gonna fatigue the driver over time. You can also get sick if you have asthma or allergies, things like that. This is a great tool to combat against that, right? I would always prefer to run a pumper on everything that I drive. Some machines are a little bit slower, like let's say a Ranger or the work models, right? This is also a great alternative. Let's say if you own a ranch or a farm and your employees are running around in their machines, put them in a helmet. Pick them up a nice helmet, get them a pumper system, and help them out. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool. No dust in the lungs and down your throat is a good thing all the time. So I highly recommend these systems. They're really cool. The way it works is once it's plugged in, these pop on, but once you get them on and twist them, there it is. It's feeding air, filtering it, coming down the tube, and into your helmet. It almost acts like air conditioning, right? Boom. So we're filtering the air, the ambient temperature air too. This is not air conditioning, but it does feel like AC on your head. Filtering the air through here, the dust out and the particles out. It's coming through and feeding in on this helmet to the top side, kind of offset. I would call this like a mid-air, okay? This would be a mid-air system, and this would be a low system. Now, this is kind of important because helmets offer different area locations for pumpers, right? If you have a slammed cage, this is important, listen up, seriously. If you have a slammed cage on your UTV, no matter what make and model, if you have lowered the cage height and you've put aftermarket seats in, I'm going to recommend a system that is located down here, because you're gonna lose 1 inch to 2 inches on your cage, and some aftermarket seats will bring you up 1 inch or 2. And then you'll have to get the seat slammer kit to bring you back down. And if you have an audio system underneath your seats, that may not work for you, but this helmet would if you're getting a pumper, because it's located down here. We've gained space to put your helmet on and fit comfortably in your machine. You're gonna want this one. Now, if you have a tall cage, you can also get the pumper mounted on the top of the helmet. Mine's like a mid-air. This would be like low. So it's all designed to work with how your build goes. These are all important things to note when you're building your UTV. I've got plenty of room in our cage. It's almost factory height, and we have some seats going in this. I've already kind of done the math, and I've pretty much had an experience in almost every seat with almost every helmet. I have a pretty good idea of what's gonna work and what's not gonna work. I wanna wear this helmet. I've got the room. So, if you're fighting room in your UTV and space, this is a great package to start with. The master communications kit with the rocker switch for your audio, your music, and your communications, combined with car-to-car communications for your group, that's a great alternative, especially if you're trying to keep it clean, right? You don't need to touch that radio. That switch is all you really need. Pretty cool, and your phone's gonna Bluetooth all that, so you get all your music in that kit. And if you wanna breathe fresh air, this is the kit we're putting in right now. So follow along, I'm gonna pop this in right now. This is the bar mount 2.5-inch bracket we're gonna be using on our pumper. This is available in a lot of different sizes depending on how your cage is laid out. Some of the cages, for instance, like our Segway, we're not running a tube across. It's more tied in angles. I don't want to use it up there. I would like it centered, so I'm going for the 2.5-inch clamp. This is available in 2-inch. It's also available in some metric sizes, all the way down to, I believe, 1 inch. So not all cages are created equal. Everything's a little bit different, and every manufacturer is going to have different diameters of factory cages and aftermarket cages available. We've got you covered for all the clamps you need at utvsource.com. So we're going to open this up. We're going to get up there. We're going to grab the tools, and we're going to install this Mac Air pumper system for our Segway Villain. I'm going to recommend right out of the gate not to use power tools. This is a composite plastic and machined threads into some billet machined aluminum. Whenever I'm working around aluminum, I try not to use power tools. This is also billet machined aluminum, precise fit, and you're gonna wanna use an end wrench or a socket, not an impact, okay? So I've kind of already located the passenger side bracket. Now this is where it's gonna get, I don't wanna say the word tricky, but you're gonna wanna mock it up. Until we get our seats in here and everything back in, we may change this depending on how we wanna route our hoses. Now, most hoses are always, or your pumper system on your helmet is always going to be on the left-hand side. It depends on how you wire your helmet. Everything on my system that I operate and I run, my personal helmets, is on the left-hand side. So keep that in mind when you're routing everything, where it's actually going. So I'm thinking of doing this like this, keeping the filter inside, wrapping my hose, and using our tube here on the cage to route the hoses to the left side and have them hanging so they don't fall down. So this is where I think I'm gonna start out, and already out of the gate, I'm gonna have to rotate this The other option would be this right here, which I may actually end up doing because that looks really clean. Let's do that instead. I can still wrap the hose and come up here and around. The hoses are super flexible. They're washable. Again, I always use a 5-gallon bucket when I'm doing stuff to keep things clean. I got one sitting over there right now in case I need to use it. So that's pretty much it. We're gonna put this on just like this. I'm gonna have the smaller half on the top, and we're gonna squeeze this in right there. And I have the plug looped through here. Now once it's all put together, I'll probably go in here and cut away a little bit of plastic so I don't pinch that plug and compromise the system. So you do not want to lose these screws. Take your time with everything you do. I'm gonna hand tighten it down. Make sure everything fits the way it should and get it into the correct position as far as the width is concerned. And a lot of guys can mount these anywhere you want, really. You do want to keep it away from some heat, so don't put it in your engine bay. I've seen guys put it in their glove box and vent their air into the glove box. I have seen that before. It does work. If you run your pumper hoses through the center console, you may want to heat wrap those because that's also where all the plumbing is from your radiator back to your engine. So I kind of want to make sure we're even. I feel like I need to scoot this side over just a little bit. Tip it back just a little bit more too. There we go. All right, let's try this again. All right, I like that. Kind of want it right the first time, so I'm gonna lock this side up now. Now all the hardware is included in this kit, so it's gonna come with some really nice Allen head bolts. Again, do not use an impact, do it by hand. And that's just gonna screw right in. You don't need to use Loctite on any of this stuff. These are a serviceable part, so you wanna make sure you can take it off. It's a universal mount that will come with this kit. I opted for these nice billet machined clamps that are available on the website. The Mac Air helmet pumper does come with a universal kit and hose clamps and a small bracket to mount it to any size diameter tubing you're working with. So I'm gonna go ahead and lock this one down. And I'm not killing it with over tightening it. We're just mocking this one up, but I'm gonna lock down one side. Okay, that's pretty much it. And you see the plug and the harness is already here, so I'm gonna sneak the harness probably underneath this tube, keep it nice and clean. I may walk this behind here as well. Let's see what it looks like. You just gotta play with things, guys, and don't just put it together. I like hiding things. Just like that. Boom, super clean. I'm gonna tighten this side down. There we go, right there. Boom. Gotta hand it to Rugged Radios. They make it really easy for the average everyday guy to be able to wire in all their own stuff. Like, again, I'm horrible at wiring, but I can do everything that Rugged Radio makes. So we're not gonna over tighten any of this stuff. We're just gonna kind of, boom, put it in there. Now when I'm done with this build, I'll go ahead and start cleaning up the wiring on how I want it so everything looks good and clean. I think I can do it just like that. It looks really nice. That's pretty much it. That's the install. You run your harness through the center console up the back. It splits off power and ground to the battery, and your rocker switch is your on-off, and it's your variable speed controller. So what that means is the more I turn that knob, the more airflow I get. They do make splitters for these hoses that Y out, and each side will operate 2 helmets. So this has the capability of operating up to 4 people comfortably. Universal. I like it. All right, Got the factory Segway seats back in, or at least one of them for right now. I'm gonna tell you this, we're not gonna be running the factory seats. We're gonna go ahead and upgrade those. That's a later video and we'll help you figure out what seat is going to work best for you and why. Now I do wanna get into this before we turn everything on and show you how to use it and what it does. There's an order of operations when you start putting in radio systems and pumpers to getting into your machine. Now, if you're wearing a helmet, which I strongly recommend you do, especially if you're in a vehicle that is very capable, and this Segway is very capable. So when you're wearing a helmet, the order of operations of getting into your UTV goes down like this. And this is what I've learned because I used to be the guy too when I first started struggling, putting everything on and getting ready to go, right? Get in your machine. If you have factory harnesses, go ahead and put them on right now. You can move around with a factory harness. It's gonna retract and expand and do its thing. It's pretty cool. I do like the new harnesses that come with the UTVs nowadays. They didn't used to do that and they kind of sucked. So that's a convenience feature nowadays in most UTVs is the harnesses move with you, which is pretty cool. If you have an aftermarket harness, put it on right now. Before you do anything, put your harness on. Do not tighten anything down, just buckle it, put it all together, and it should be loose so you can still move around. And we're gonna do that because when you go to put your helmet on, it makes everything easy because we can move around. Grab it by the ears right here, you open the straps, you slide it on. It's pretty simple, right? It is really simple to do that. Now, what isn't simple is if you start with your helmet, what happens is by the time you strap your helmet to your head so it doesn't fall off, you have your helmet on, you don't have your harnesses on, you can't see them. You're limited on what you can see, okay? That's why we put our harnesses on first and we leave them loose. Now you got your helmet on, go ahead and grab your cable to your radio, your comms. Plug it in. It self-indexes and it clicks. That's on. Go ahead and grab your pumper hose. Locate it on your helmet. Put it on. Next step, cinch your harnesses down. You don't need to try to fumble looking to put them together anymore. They're already on. Now you just tighten them up, you shut your door. When you go to get out of your machine, this is important, loosen up the harnesses. That makes it easier to put back on when you get back in your machine. Now some of us like to leave the waists tight or tighter so we don't have to strap them down as much. If you can squeeze into them and buckle, that's fine because you can still move up here to put your helmet on. These are tips that I swear will save you time and eliminate the frustrations of using this equipment that we're installing. Now you can see the cable moves around pretty well. I can do whatever I need to do. It's pretty convenient. It's a really nice flexible hose on the pumper. Let's turn the pumper on now. This is pretty cool. This is a variable speed system. I'm gonna turn it on about quarter way right now. You can hear it wind up. Oh, that feels so good. I'm getting the air feed at the top of my helmet. Some helmets, we already went over this, are gonna feed you through here, and some are at the very top. Remember your limitations on your cage. It's very important when you're building your UTV. Let's go ahead and crank this thing now. Remember, this is good for 4 people. We're gonna crank it. Yeah. Sounds like a jet in here, but I'm comfortable and I'm breathing clean, fresh air. Now, if it's a little too much for some of your riders, you can adjust this. Turn it down a little. That feels so amazing. And if you noticed, everything's at my fingertips. I'm not having to loosen up or fumble to find the switches. It's right there, it's clearly labeled Mac Air, which is rad. It's on the rocker, which is rad. It's located down and just easy for myself to grab, or even the passenger to grab if it's too much air for them. Now remember order of operations. Unplug everything before you get out of the car. We do that because if you go to get out and you leave all this on, it's gonna yank you back in. Now we do sell some cool trick parts for this that can make it magnetize to your helmet and your pumpers, so when you get out, it all just falls off and it is what it is, and it's pretty awesome. And that's mainly used for guys racing. When they need to get out of their machine during a race, it's for a good reason. They need to get out fast. So those are some convenience items that we do sell at UTV Source. You should check them out if you're interested in that, in upgrading to some convenience items with all these other components. I love what we've done here. I kind of like where it's at right now. I'm not sure if this is where it's gonna live or if I'm gonna rotate it. That'll be decided when we get everything back in and all of the parts we're putting on this build. So it's gonna get tight. We may have to make some adjustments along the way. That's normal when you're building your UTV. As long as you know where you're going with your build and what parts you're going to be using, you should be able to figure it out. If you need help, we have a great customer service team. We also have live chat on the website. I encourage you guys to use that. Now let's get into the radio and the comms. I'm gonna go ahead and put my helmet back on. We're gonna turn this on and we're gonna go through the order of operations of how it works. And it's really easy to operate this. I'm gonna leave the pumper off, so we're gonna tuck that behind the seat, grab a helmet, pop it back on. I'm gonna run the cable, pop it in, we're gonna turn the radio on. It's blue lit on the background. When it turns on, it's gonna show you the frequencies or the channels that you're on, okay? Now, you're gonna scroll through there, you're gonna get with your buddy, and you're gonna ask them what channel you guys want to run. They're pre-selected, they're pre-programmed in here as well. Pretty simple to use. Now, if you don't have a helmet and you don't have a headset, it does come with a CB style radio and you push it and you talk into it. It's pretty cool. We have the complete master kit in here, so we have push to talks. I located mine on the shifter versus the steering wheel for this build. I don't know why I did that, I just thought it looked cool. But when I hit this button, that radio now turns a different color. Now I'm turning on the car to car. It's blue backlit as well. It's really nice. So at night you can see what is on that switch. You have a play and a pause. You have a cell phone button. You have a minus and a plus. You have your squelch on here as well. And your squelch is being used to control your music and your voice to your passenger. And it also kind of cleans up everything on the car to car communication system. So when we turn it on, we have volume control here, but we also have volume control down here. Remember, this system is streaming music. So if you have Pandora or anything else or preloaded music on your cell phone, it's gonna Bluetooth to the system. You're gonna be able to enjoy music. And when you talk back and forth, the music automatically cuts down to a lower tone so you can pick up the conversation. What's really nice about a helmet and a headset is it also cuts down on the engine noise, right? I don't always want to hear my exhaust or my machine. I really don't. I want to be comfortable and enjoy the ride. So these three systems make my ride that much more enjoyable. I'm not breathing dirt, dust. I can communicate to the vehicles in front of me or behind me or somewhere else on the trailer if they're getting lost and getting them back into the group on the ride. I can listen to music and I can answer my phone calls. Pretty rad. This setup is legit. And again, we didn't have the room to put the radio here, so it's in the glove box, hence the rocker switch. Man, we really needed that room in this machine too. So all in all, I'm pretty stoked. The system is legit, super easy to install. I even wired it all in. So if I can do it, you can do it. And I have it wired to the battery. You don't have to do it that way. I did it that way. So if I'm parked at a hill, I can turn the radio on and listen to my buddies if they're lost and they want to know where I parked at. I have communications going. I know what's happening to the other riders in my group. Shut the pumper off right here. I can shut the comms off and we're done. It's pretty cool. It's not going to drain anything this way as well. And when the blue lights are off, it's off. It's pretty simple to use, pretty simple to wire. It's a complete kit. It's legit. It really is. Now, there's a lot of accessories you can shop for to hang things or even hang your comm cables up on your roof if that's what you're into, or if you're doing a custom build. There's a lot of trick little brackets for this system. Check it out. Visit the website at utvsource.com. I'm gonna encourage you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm also gonna ask you guys to go to the website and sign up for the SMS text. A lot of bangers happen there. That's it for this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Rugged radios, pumpers, complete system. Got a lot more to build on this, so we'll see you on the next one. Remember, guys, life's a ride. Make it your own.